Good afternoon. My name is Mike, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. Boom! There we are. How's it going, guys? We're going to continue our playthrough of Fenton, our primalist here. So hop into game. Hi, Rimmer. We've got ourselves a sweet primalist. I didn't actually take any time to, comb through my gear or anything in the off time. So it's just everything's been on stream so far. Let's see. Oh yeah, the map. Feels so bad looking at the old map now. Hi, Trickster. How you doing? Impossible. Should we go in here? Did we already do this? I think we already did that. Yeah, we already did that. Will you add skin color color change when making a new character, Mike? So there's a big thread up on the forums about character customization in general. Originally started out as a gender conversation, but it really applies to every part of character customization on the whole, and it's something that like would be really nice to add. It's not something that we're going to be adding pre 1.0. It's a feature that we'll look at down the road once we've got the game out and all that sort of stuff. It's something that we'd love to have. Character customization in general be fantastic, but it's just we got to keep the scope in check if we're going to have a successful launch, and getting to release with the features we've already scoped in is really important. Getting right into it, will other staff members join you during streaming in the future? Yeah, we've actually already talked about people who wanted to come join in the future, and there's a few people that have shown interest. Ooh, there's a shrine up there. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have other people. That was almost a close early death there. I'm not sure who's going to be the first one to join me, but we'll have some other people in here. Maybe get them on webcam if we can. Maybe just voice. I don't know yet. We're still learning how we want to operate these streams in general, and we'll explore them. 4 gold. Oh, super useful. Spiders always creep me out a little bit. I don't know why. It's just the way they move. My wife's always like, "You gotta kill the spider, Mike." I can't do it. She's terrified of spiders, and I don't like them either that much. Gotta suck it up sometimes, I guess. Lone Star McFluffin coming with a rating party of 47. Welcome everyone from Lone Star McFluffin stream. Grab a seat, stay a while, listen. Why was there a? Did anyone see that there was like a little speech bubble on top of this thing? I'm going crazy. Someone clip that and roll it back. Will we get all of the 3 new mastery classes at the same time, or will they drop one by one? I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know. Ooh. See what happens when I look away. When will the primalist get a shower? He likes to bathe in the natural rivers and streams that litter the world. He's a naturalist. He likes his unkempt look, his outdoor sparkles. I love that art on the transition screen. Those little on the bottom of the screen. I just pointed at my screen that you guys can't see, but the little flourishes at the edge there. I remember when they got made by our lead 2D artist, and I was very happy seeing them for the first time. Ooh, a bit of a poke there. I'm okay though. Sharing happens in the scene transitions, yeah. Can I still make this leap? Can we still make this jump? We patch that? I think we patched it. Yep, dang it. Welcome back, Trundle God. How you doing? Yeah, we'll get some other people on here for sure. There's some people who want to say hi, meet everyone, you know. Yeah, there are Trundle. There are other people in stream. Reimer is hanging out in the stream chat. He is answering questions and doing all sorts of awesome stuff. I kind of want to move my stream chat a little bit closer to the center of my screen, so I don't have to like squint and look. Will you add random generated maps? It's a very difficult thing to do and set up. It's something we're still working on. We'll let you know if it's possible to get it in anytime soon. Yeah, all right. On the roadmap, there's something like a trade market auction house thingy. Do you guys really think it's healthy for a grinding game? And if you implement it, can you already tell with what kind of philosophies planned for it? We have a lot of plans for that. It's something that it will change as multiplayer gets implemented and tested, and I fully hear what you're saying with the implications of the grinding game and all that sort of stuff. Like it's a fine line to walk. If you have quick and easy access to any gear you want whenever you want it, and suddenly all you need to do is get enough of currency X to purchase the exact gear for your build, does it kind of invalidate the gear hunt in a sense? That's the I'm assuming that's the danger you're implying here with that question. And yeah, it's all stuff we're looking at. We want to really create a social game where people can interact with each other if they want to, and have ways to share in that experience. And part of that experience is the loot hunt. Personally, I have a lot of really fond memories trading on Diablo 2. I know like people who've been here before know that I always go back to Diablo 2 as an example, but there's like that time where you're like you're new to the game, and you finally find someone who needs that one item you managed to find, and it's a bit of a struggle to even get the trade to work or whatever, but you finally get it, and you get a big boost in your item, in your gear for your character or whatever. It is a fun experience, and being part of that community is a really positive option to have for people who want to be involved with that. Like, we still are obviously going to support, I shouldn't say obviously, we are still going to support SSF and have that be an optional way to play, and have it still be fun for sure. But having that community aspect through trading is a great way to build that community. So yeah, I hope that partially answers your question at least. I kind of lost my way halfway through that. Did you check Titan Quest Pet Stance for some inspiration? It's basic but works well. Yes. Titan Quest is one of our lead designer's favorite games, and it frequently gets brought up in design discussions. So I can assure you it has been noted. Thoughts on skills that proc without being on your bar, specifically ones that proc with no cooldown and no mana cost. Yeah, there's a really fine line because it's really fun to build up. Most of this, I assume, is coming from like idols, procking abilities like there's the Sentinel idols that can proc Smite. It's called Smite still, right? Yeah, Smite. And things like that. It's a really fun thing to do to set up an engine where oh, I cast this spell and it procs this spell and it procs that spell, and it's sort of this trickle down effect of procs. And that's a really fun thing to build. It's a little dangerous in the sense of just the number of assets that get created and the performance implications of it. Also the balance implications of it. If there's this way to make spell X show or like get procced automatically, it can be a little scary, because if you have, like, what's the reason someone would cast that spell manually if it can be procced for free, right? We're not using an axe. We might use an axe eventually, though. I do still like this. I'm just gonna do that. I think having those inter-skill interactions where you are building up those things with your gear is fun to have happen. So I don't think we're going to get rid of those things anytime soon. We may start emphasizing when abilities are cast by you. We've got some new tech as of the rogue patch that lets us detect more easily in the mutation functions where the skill came from. It was built for the shadows, so we can we could do some things where it's like, oh, what is going on here? No deaths, come on. Where we can say like, okay, if the spell was cast by you, do something specific. Let's try not to die at all. Dead the first time. Didn't die the second time I did this. There's a question here. What's your philosophy for mana management today? There's just very poor support for it. For example, new focus is way worse than before. Yeah, so there's... we are trying to take a pretty hardline stance on mana being the primary limiting factor in casting your abilities frequently. So notice that most skills don't have cooldowns on them. Typically the skills that have cooldowns on them are ones that have very severe screen clutter implications, so like Volcanic Orb, for example, or things that have mobility implications. I'm going the wrong way, such as Fury Leap right there. We try and keep cooldowns out of it as much as we can. It's a really difficult thing to do. We have this discussion a lot where we say like, well, how can we limit this ability without giving it a cooldown or whatever, and having it have just so much mana makes it feel bad. When so much power comes from things like interactions between skills and other abilities and proc effects and things like that. So it's a really difficult thing to set up properly. We do plan to... I'm just gonna make sure I don't die again. We do try and make sure that mana feels good with most builds. My advice would be, if you're having trouble with mana and focus isn't quite doing it for you, possibly building in a second attack ability that can be used at low or no mana, like building Fireball into the build or something like that. Yeah, Reimer's got a good answer there too, I think. I wouldn't call it finished. Yeah, I gotta get better at this talking and playing at the same time. Get some air in here. Woo! It's hot. Do love the new temple. Anyone who remembers the old temple, I'm sorry. This one is gorgeous though. Level design really outdid themselves. Just the the little touches, I don't know, these giant chains hanging down, stuff that's in the background. I really like this level. About to see a lot more sorrow. I feel like I'm missing questions here. Reimer, ping me with a question in chat. Because I didn't open... oh, I do have your chat open. You can message me in Discord. I can see that. Yep, almost like the temple is actually a spaceship that's being grounded. I don't know what you're talking about, really. You know, I don't know. It looks pretty rooted. Our inventory's full. Oh no. Quick second here. Let's see. What do we got? It's pretty good. CDR, minion health. I do like that armor. No. Which I know makes no sense out of context. Sorry. Regarding the currencies in the auction house, that's still stuff that's going to come through testing, and we have not done a ton of testing with it yet. So we don't have a large population in there. I'm sure you guys would have heard rumors of a large population in our multi-layer testing, even if NDAs were signed. Has there been any discussion or thought about earning additional inventory space like Grim Dawn? Yes, we have. Mostly due to, I would say, the inventory already being decently large. We decided we didn't want to do it. We did actually bring up Grim Dawn as an example. Oh, there it is again. Oh, it's the Storm Totem. All right. Storm Totem's got a... I think we may have actually fixed that recently. Sorry, I can't remember what I was just answering. There's another question. Your thoughts on adding void damage to more subclasses through items or just to the unreleased subclasses? I'm not saying, I just want to be clear, I'm not saying that the unreleased subclasses are going to get void damage in any way. And I'm not saying that they're not going to get void damage in any way. Just don't try and read into the subclasses part of this. But just in general, we do have plans for expanding void access in general to the player. And I don't want to give you hopes on how quick that will happen, but we do have some plans for expanding void access, because right now it is basically just one class's theme, and I mean you look at the characters and there's like one class has access to this, basically every class has access to this, most classes have access to cold. Sorry. Everyone has physical. Most of them have poison. Sork doesn't really have poison. Necrotic is basically limited to Acolyte. Like there's good and bad things about having those things be limited to individual classes. It helps make them feel unique and all those things like that. But having it restricted to just one can sometimes make certain items, like if there's an item that's really void damage related and it explicitly requires your character to already be dealing void damage, it limits the act, like who that item is good for pretty heavily. So suddenly you have an item that's basically only good for one subclass and like one mastery class, and when you have items that are really explicitly just for one mastery class, it's difficult to have them be in the item pool at the same rate as the other ones. So then suddenly you've got this weird thing where either you have this item dropping for a lot of people that find it useless, or this item that is almost impossible to find for people who actually need it. And because we don't... We can put items like that on class-specific things. We can put that on, like, a helmet, chest, or... Oh, this was a bit of a mistake. Or a relic slot to keep that impact minimal, for sure. It's still 1 in 3. But it's nice to be able to put those things on weapons. And... I mean, apart from bows, for the moment, weapons are not class locked. Come on. Oh. Just gonna let the totems do some work over there, because that guy, he hurts. Come on, totems. Do your thing. Let's take a brief moment here and let's load some stuff. I want this. Yeah, we want that. Duration health, that might be the way to go. I can't remember what I was going to do here. I think extra projectiles was the option I wanted. Next. And just more of this. Because I love that storm totem's beauty. Alright. Oh yeah, the bridge, right. Whew. Merging, throwing, and range damage when? Probably won't do that. It's pretty intrinsically different. Like, if a bow gives throwing damage, it feels really weird, you know? Or like a throwing dagger weapon, which I know we don't really... You're not throwing the weapon itself, so we don't really do a ton of that sort of stuff, but they're thematically pretty disparate, even though they are both typically physical-based ranged attack. The sort of like stuff from the back end of that is pretty different from each other, so probably won't be merging them anytime soon, if at all. You just need to rename bow and throwing has ranged attack damage. We need to be able to put them individually on things. And unless we're pretty explicit with what each thing means, if we say ranged attack and bow and throwing attacks both exist independently, it will be confusing. Yes, alright. Back the way we were going. I'm gonna go this way first, though. Pew pew, pew pew. What are your thoughts on making weapons not stat sticks, so finding weapons with high damage feeling good? So right now, added melee weapon, like, so we're just gonna take like a one-handed sword, for example. Added melee weapon damage, or added melee physical damage, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't appear very often at all, and almost the only place you really see it is on weapons. And that's specifically done so that the majority of your melee weapon damage, or melee attack damage, is coming from your weapon. because like you're not going to see that plus melee physical damage basically anywhere else other than prefixes on a weapon or the weapon itself. And that's specifically so that weapons do feel less like stat sticks. It's a decision we made very early on in development, and it has a lot of implications for how everything's been built around it. It is possible to undo this. It would take a very long time and would basically preclude cutting out huge sections of other content that the people who would have to make it would be working on. So probably won't be changing that anytime soon. I actually personally do prefer this method. While it's not exactly the same, the effect is basically there, and it lets us do some cool stuff. Thank you, Twinblade28. Hi from Canada. Oh, I just realized. I've had my giant face on this whole time instead of the little one. Oh, sorry guys. Professional. Woo. You just cut out primalist and acolyte. No one likes them. Free up the work. Well, I know a couple people that wouldn't be too happy with that, but if you can convince them, sure. Ooh, I need to watch where I'm going. Grab this health potion real quick. Oh, ding. 25. Oh. Those void rift things are, man, they hurt. Do I have any void res? I have no void res. Yeah, that's probably, something I should have done before coming in here. This noob has no void res on any of his gear. Ugh. I think void res can go in this. Do I have any? I do. It can't go in that. Helmet, buddy, belt, gloves, shield. There we are. Let's, yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Can't wear this.
And it's... So you guys remember that bug we were talking about? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was in the forums or Discord or something. Someone brought up this bug. Yes, it can happen. Just played myself a lot. It's all right. We got one more. Yeah. Oh, so much better. Ooh. Reimer sent me a message here. What are your plans on item sets, set bonuses? I know you don't want to have them be mandatory like D3 right now. Oh, come on. Oh, that's T, not R. But also they aren't chosen mostly except in meme builds. They are already most of the time got weird / not looked after affixes and suffixes. Kind of bad set boni or boni you never want to wear. Two of those weird affix combo items. Yeah, so we've started looking at unique items last patch. We did some set ones too. Set items are really hard to get into a place where they're either good to mix and match, like just part of them, or they're mandatory for the whole thing. And I think so. Like there's lots of games that just completely avoided them because of this difficulty. And we do have a smaller number of slots of gear in general. Like, there's no pants slot, there's no shoulder slot. So sometimes it's harder to get bigger sets where you can have part of the set and have it still be feeling good. We do want sets to be part of your end game loadout. So this is ideal end game loadout for majority of characters. I'm not saying like 99% of people or anything like that, but just like more than half, I would say we'd want people to be wearing some combination of sets, uniques, rare items, things like just having it be a variety of things instead of just all one thing. And then I think in an sort of a caveat to that, also having build to build, character to character, class to class, having it be different pieces. So it's not just like everyone always puts a rare item in their relic slot because rare relics are always the best, and no one ever uses a set relic, but they always use a set helmet because set helmets are the best. And we don't want that to happen either. But having it be spread out and mix and match, so there is a difference in your gear, so there's that diversity. That's the word I'm looking for. And that's sort of the ideal way to have it line up. So yeah, we're still working on item balancing in general. I love that animation. Bloop. Back we go. I really want to do something cool in there. We got another skill point here. We're just gonna build this up. 'Cause, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of those points are coming out as soon as we get to the end of time. Oh. My face. It hurts. Attunement and frost gloves. That could be good. And chuck some of these down. I don't think I want any of these. Attunement armor. I like the fizz res. Do kind of like that. Let's see if we can. Womp womp. Shave off the beard. Hey, my beard is surprisingly smooth. I take better care of my beard than lots of other things. Got a nice comb right here. Yeah. Having a beard is a commitment, though. You know, if anyone out there is thinking about getting a beard, it is. It's not just I'm gonna have a beard. You gotta find the right products for it and all sort of stuff. It's not too much information, llama. It's just the right amount. Ooh. Slam scared me. Go back over here where my totems are. Oh, totems! Come back! Ooh. This guy hurts. Buying a beard is like buying a puppy. Okay, puppies are a little bit more of a responsibility than a beard. This is the wrong way. I think this is the wrong way. Might not be the wrong way. Honestly, it's been a while since I've actually done this level in the right order. Come on. Yeah, health potions. That's what I like. I can't look away. I look away away for a second. Oh, and it's all the way back here. Oh, that's a trek. Alright, let's answer some questions while I'm walking. When is the game releasing? This year. Are you doing a new roadmap for this year? Yeah, we've got the same roadmap. We'll be updating it as we go. Everything's when it's ready, really. Like we release content when it's ready. We release patches when it's ready. We release updates when they're ready. Like we're not going to release anything before it's ready, really. Roadmaps are a rough guideline in the order we're working on things. And we will keep every time we release a patch, we cross things off the list of that. What other languages are planned? As many as we can. No, I don't have the exact list of which languages we're planning on localizing to, but I will say by the more people who play our game from whatever region it is a higher likelihood that it will be localized to that language. There's lots of really cool things that I don't know. I've been learning about localization specifically with certain languages that have different like alphabet characters that I never would have thought would be a problem beforehand. But I don't know, I thought it was interesting. Will there be servers or P2P? This is something we've said from the very beginning of our plans from Kickstarter, is that we will be doing server authoritative stuff. So there will be servers. Any teasing stuff for us you can talk about without hurting your NDA? I mean, probably. Do you want me to? Any plans for camera adjustments? So you can see more of the bottom screen, size of the screen. Unlikely, I would say. Dan, if you're listening, I can't actually switch to what you've sent me. I'm sorry. Unlikely switching the camera angle. So, we tried rotating the camera angle once upon a time, actually, and level design hates it so much. So like, for example, this statue right here, it has to look good from this angle. It doesn't have to look good from like rotated 180 and looking back at it. It doesn't have to look good at all from that angle. So it's like, it has a lot of extra work that suddenly comes in. And I know we're talking about changing the camera angle to like be further up, and so you can see down more. That also changes things, because like suddenly when you're looking over an overlook like this, we can tell for certain that like the stuff that's directly under the feet right now you can't see. So there's a lot of considerations for things that would have to change if we change the camera angle. A lot of them are level design stuff. A lot of them are even just like enemy layouts in zones that suddenly change. We've talked about making changes like that, but we don't plan to at the moment do anything to the camera angle. I mean, you can actually technically change it a little bit by doing this. Technically, it's tilting down. It's going like this when you do that. So, you know, a little bit of a change. Ooh, it's spicy. I can't really give you anything about the other subclasses right now. They're going to be unique, interesting, fun, and be integrated into their other classes very well. And we're building them all as a group. So like, we're built not like all of them together as a group, but we're building each one of them as like, we're going to build all of Falconer together, and we're building all of Brewmaster together, and we're building, and please don't take the order that I'm saying this in to mean anything. We're building all of Warlock in together. It's Yeah, just so that we can get that integration with their base classes and the other masteries to feel really good. Will there be systems/game modes that make people want to party together, or multiplayer is something that's just there, with nothing specific or to incentivize or disincentivize grouping? So this is a really deep topic, and I'll touch on it a bit here. We really want people. There's sort of like, I guess, two main sides to this: people who want to play with other people and people who really don't want to play with other people. And we really want both, and I guess people who don't really care. But we want all of those people in all those different groups to feel like they're not forced into going one way or the other. And we want them to be able to play the way they already want to play. So if someone is really interested in playing this game completely solo, but they still want to be online to maybe interact with the trading systems, or they still want to be online to interact with leaderboards, things like that, we want them to still feel like they have a fun environment to play in. And we don't want to have a system where, let's say, as an example, this would be a bad thing. You have a boss that can only be completed with 4 people in your group because there's some mechanic that just doesn't work unless you have 4 people in your group. There's no way to solo it, and it drops a very specific item that enables a very popular build that is really powerful. That would be a really bad thing. Just because then suddenly all the people who don't want to play with other people, who just want to play on their own and have their own fun, are suddenly completely locked out of that build option completely, and that boss is just completely unavailable to them. So we want those people to still have access to those bosses. Now, there's some cool things you can do in party mechanics that we're exploring and looking at, so that you can. So there is a different experience when you're in multiplayer. This is not something that is implemented in a boss fight, but this is sort of the example I go to when describing this style of thing, because it's really simple and easy to talk about. In Diablo 2, surprise, surprise, when you're fighting Diablo himself, spoiler alert, he has an ability where he grabs someone, like there's a bone prison that comes up from the ground and grabs someone, and they're effectively stuck there, and someone else has to knock them out of that, has to like destroy the prison to free them. And that's the sort of mechanic where if you've got people in your party, like it's not that scary when it actually happens, because it breaks pretty easily and people's defenses are usually good enough that it's fine even if you are solo. But it's a mechanic that if it's like a dangerous fight and it's really scary getting locked up like that, you'll need someone to come break you out quickly. And that sort of mechanic is cool in a party environment, but not so much in a solo environment, because if you're just stuck there and dead, it's like if Lagon could lock people down and then just blast them with his eye. Great. It's just suddenly impossible to do solo. So I'd say there's things we're looking at doing to give cool interactions in multiplayer and have and make playing together a more interactive experience, so that like you got a story to tell afterwards. Like, oh, do you see when Josh got locked up in the bone prison and I totally broke him out after the fight? You know, things like that. It's cool to sort of have that teamwork element. So, yeah. I wouldn't say there's like everything's gonna be like that, but you know, if every once in a while there's an opportunity for that, I'd say that'll be a cool thing. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Did anyone test on a GTX 1660 card of this game yet? I am currently streaming on a GTX 1080, which is like freakishly similar to a 1660. So this is what it looks like on a 1080. And I honestly don't know how smooth the stream is, but I have not noticed a single hiccup yet while streaming, which is good. And it's like, I don't know, 4-year-old CPU. Whenever Boardman gets to the boss, Diablo appears and puts him in a cage. Nice. Are there any plans to add guilds to the game at some point? I want to be able to join a guild with my friends. Something else, try not to die. So we don't get lost in the crowd when 150k concurrent players come at release. Yeah, so guilds are an awesome social feature. They're not in our 1.0 scope. So I wouldn't expect to see them immediately. It's definitely something we've talked about. And yeah, it's a great way to maintain. Yeah, I didn't think you could jump over there. Tried. It's a great way to maintain like a smaller sub community inside. Like I played WoW for years, and you know, I guess there's only really 3 guilds I was part of over those years. But it's a ton of fun having those friends that you hop online and you see them consistently, and like there's still friends that I keep in touch with now that I've never met, but just met, well, never met in person, but through WoW, through guilds. So yeah, I think that's a really cool thing to have. It's back to the scope problem. You know, we've got to launch first. I feel like someone asked for leaks, and I didn't really look to see if anyone actually wanted any. Oh, that was a mistake. Thank you, totems. You'll be forever remembered. Your sacrifice is not in vain. Your sacrifice might be in vain. No, okay, it's fine. You've been begging for crafting leaks. I don't have any crafting leaks, Gerald. I'm sorry. We were going through stuff before this, and that was the one thing that we're like, I probably shouldn't put this up, should we? I don't know, something might get stuck on my screen here in a minute. You never know. Like, oh, what was that? Oh, sorry. It just happened so fast. No, I'm not playing with a controller. You think I can move a mouse cursor around the screen this fast with a controller? Or you're saying I'm that bad? Ooh. Someone could probably clip that and find it, figure it out. Probably actually open this so it doesn't show my what was that? Can I leave this always on top? I don't have I guess I could put it in this. Can I just add it on the fly? Second, guys. Just a second here. I don't actually know where this went. Okay, there it is. Mike, what are you doing? Taking so long here. Jeez. this up here. That looks good. There. Is that too small? I'll show you who's not Eterra. So I know a lot of you guys feel that this is a concept design. It's not actually finished or in game right now, and I know it's a little tricky. We get a lot of questions of people who are like, "Are my blessings global for my character, or are they specific to the timeline that I'm in right now?" And I think that a way we can fix that is by making the blessings part of your inventory screen, so it looks more like gear that you're actually wearing, which is actually how they're implemented. Oh, here we go. And so this will give you more global information about the progress of your blessings, where they came from, other ones you've discovered. It won't leak which ones are possible until you've found them, so you're not gonna be able to like until you've seen one, it won't show up here. It'll just be like a blank icon. I thought this guy disappeared at half. Has it really been that long since I fought him without cheating? Okay, eyes on the prize, Mike. A little leak. A nice vegetable for you guys. Get your greens. Ah. Whew.
Glad to leave this land of darkness behind.
What do we got here? Anything worth looking at? Not much, really. Womp womp. Yeah. It's too bad. Reach out and take it. I'm coming. Any more of them leaks? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Eterra.
I think that's all I've got for you.
Sorcery is this?
No loot filter? Yeah, I don't have a loot filter set up. I'm lazy. I'm just the worst. I feel like I could. There's a few lined up in there that I could probably turn on, but just keeping it simple, you know.
Traveler, greetings.
Just keeping it simple. Thanks, buddy.
The
Let's go. Gimme that shaman. What's my favorite chocolate bar? I'm so glad you asked. If I'm like picking a chocolate bar from like the grocery store or like the corner store, like gas station, something like that, it's got to be a caramel. I'm gonna like show my Canadian here because I don't know if these things are everywhere, but like it's chocolate with caramel inside. I love caramel. But if it's like, are we going for just like any chocolate bar you can find? There's this really fancy place by where I live that sells like weird imported chocolate bars that, it's the type you get like one of every 5 years. Just like really, really nice dark chocolate. Best ones have like a little bit of salt on them, like big salt crystals right on the chocolate bar. Oh, those are the best. Okay. Hi, Mr. Bear. Hi, Shaman. Hi, Mr. Raptor. All right. We're doing Shaman. That's what we came here to do. That's what we're gonna do. Hooey! Once skill trees are done for 1.0, any thoughts on what would be the key approach to keeping skills fresh? Should we expect tree changes across cycles, or more items that change the way skills play? Kind of all of the above, I would say. I'm sure we'll see patterns start to emerge of skills that are not used very much on the leaderboards, and skills that are very heavily used on the leaderboards. And I'm not saying that's the only thing we'll use to decide what we buff and nerf and change and rework and all that sort of stuff. But I think it's, like, at a very cursory glance, a decent way to guess what might be looked at. Where am I going? I'm looking for the respec person. It's down here still. And yeah, we'll be likely taking things that are... Our general approach is kind of take the stuff that's the oldest and start reworking it. Yeah, I can't do that. I gotta do this now. Do this? No. I can do more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Taking the stuff that's the oldest likely is what'll happen for the first little bit, because not every single skill will have a tree made in the last year. After launch, I'd say, like, you'll I don't know which ones are going to be the first ones redone now, because we still got a lot to redo before launch anyways. But things that are maybe not getting used because they don't interact with enough other skills, things that maybe aren't getting used because they're not powerful enough, maybe things that end up being a little clunky to use just because they don't feel good, that sort of stuff. There's some sort of mechanical problem with them. Those are sort of like how we look at what needs to get reworked. But like adding a new item that interacts with a specific skill or two specific skills can sometimes have a pretty big impact on how skills are played and shake things up quite a bit, even without doing much work for it. So adding a single item like that can sometimes be a quick and easy way to shake things up. Yeah. Will there be added skills for classes or just reworks? I would say we will be adding new skills post-launch. Don't know how long that'll be post-launch. I don't know if that'll involve removing other skills post-launch. But it's something that we'd likely do. Yeah, if you'll notice, there's still some gaps in the passives. Like, this is a pretty full one right here. Beastmaster's got a lot of stuff there already, but there's still some room for more stuff to go in there, right? You never know. There's still room for more stuff to go in here too. Are there going to be any support builds similar to Aurabot? Support in PoE, Cursebot, and other builds designed to just buff stuff around them in multiplayer. Hope this question gets through. I know it's anytime. Yeah, there's... We do look at support builds as we're designing things. Like, you can make a pretty heavy support build already. Not quite fully, but like, say you take like Warcry, Frenzy Totem, Eterra's Blessing, I don't know, maybe go like a really stun focused Earthquake or something like that, and you can get into, maybe you're taking Summon Spriggan as a pet, maybe a Tangling Roots just to lock things down. Like, there's already a lot of stuff you can do to make a pretty heavy support build, and lots of those trees have things like just reduced mana cost, reduced cooldown, just applying slows and armor shreds and things like that to enemies. And a lot of those nodes aren't taken very heavily for the most part in a single player environment, but they are there. So we do look at those things for a multiplayer thoughts on support builds. I'd say the classes that you'll be able to see the most support, be able to work support in the easiest will be primalist and paladin, and probably acolyte actually will be likely pretty easy to make support builds, just because there's a lot of like debuffing and there's some area control stuff. I think it'll be possible for the others, but you'll have to get a little bit more creative to really do it with things like in the mage subclasses and rogue subclasses. But I'd say I'm sure it'll be possible for someone to figure out how. I hope someone just proves me wrong completely, and it's awesome. I'm gonna get rid of this. We're taking Storm Totem. Yeah, there it is. There's my Stormy boy. I think we want to stay Lightning in general. I think because we are still doing our Tempest Strike, we're going to come down here. Go that way. And more projectiles there. We still want that. We got that. Yeah. Coming up into Shaman. What are we going to do here? I think we need that because we got lots of totem damage. But I think we only need 1 point in that. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. Yeah. Because that pumps our crit on Tempest Strike. Do you like the Lightning Strike procs? Right. I forgot that was a node. I forgot. Will there be a competitive aspect to the game as in leagues? Yes. We already do as much as we can to get competitive nature with the ladder that exists now. I mean, there's lots of things it's tough to do with because it's still an offline game to make that actually be competitive. But we do try and keep it as engaging as possible, and I think people are having a lot of fun with it. It's something that really drove a lot of engagement early on in development as well. Is that ladder leaderboard system? I'm nowhere near it because I gotta get into the People are doing good. Wow. Yeah. So there's definitely that leaderboard, and that will continue to grow. We do plan on having a leaderboard system being a very forward part of the competitive nature of the game. We think that's an important thing. Lots of questions coming in here. I'm going to try and answer some of them. People asking what the largest hurdle we've had to overcome was as a team. That's a really tough question to answer because there's so many little things that we've had to adapt to as we've gone through. And a lot of the hurdles are the times you look back at and say it ends up being really fun. So it's difficult to say what the largest hurdle was, and I mean it's all relative as well. So I think the hardest that I've ever worked when it comes to this game, and probably ever actually, was during Kickstarter, because it was like your all day, every day was just going out to every stream you could find of people playing the game, talking to them in there, just sending the game out. So that was really difficult. And so it was Judd said Kickstarter, yeah. It's difficult to do a Kickstarter campaign. It was and looking back at it, it's a ton of fun to talk about. We were just talking about it the other day, actually. And it was, I wouldn't have changed doing that at all. But I think that was the biggest hurdle we had to overcome. Yeah. Okay, we're at an hour. It's 2:04 here, so we're gonna wrap things up, I think. Yeah, there's a certain cat that really likes to get stuck in blinds in the middle of meetings. It's a tough one. Think about getting him some new blinds so that it doesn't get stuck in them as easily. glad you guys had fun. I'll wrap this up here. Ooh, yeah. Thanks again, Reimer, for all of the graphics we had before and after. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Have a good night.